All right, to frame why the Senate chaplain is literally praying to end the shutdown, air traffic controllers are working 60 hours a week without pay. FBI agents say they're losing ground in terror investigations, prison guard shortages, food stamps in limbo, the TSA understaffed. And there could be zero economic growth this quarter, zero, if the shutdown lingers. With that as a backdrop, President Trump just backed down. He folded to Nancy Pelosi in the proxy fight over the State of the Union. The president blinked first, and the House Speaker just doubled down in a late-night tweet. We're going to get to all of that, but first, new accusations that the commander-in-chief is threatening a witness. This is big. This is a really, really weird time. The president's former attorney, Michael Cohen, postponed his upcoming appearance before the Oversight Committee, citing, quote, ongoing threats against his family from the president and Rudy Giuliani. Cohen released a statement through his media advisor saying he had put his family and their safety first. The president has tweeted twice about Cohen's family, once claiming that Cohen cooperated with prosecutors to protect his wife and her father. Another time he tweeted, quote, watch father-in-law. And here's more.
In order to get a sentence reduced, he says, I have an idea. I'll give you some information on the president. Well, there is no information, but he should give information maybe on his father-in-law, because that's the one that people want to look at, because where does that money? That's the money in the family. And I guess he didn't want to talk about his father-in-law. He's trying to get his sentence reduced. So it's pretty sad. You know, it's weak, and it's very sad to watch a thing like that. I couldn't care less.
What is his father-in-law's name?
I don't know, but you'll find out and you'll look into it, because nobody knows what's going on over there.
It's about his father-in-law. We talked about Ukrainians. His father-in-law is a Ukrainian. His father-in-law has millions and millions. Of course it's not. I'm telling you, it comes from the Ukraine. The reason that's important is he may have ties to something called organized crime.
Wow. Yeah, it's really troubling, and I just have to say this. It's been in the back of my mind ever since I saw that interview with Jeanine Pirro, Willie. Yeah. It appears, I mean, some would say that the president is doing an interview at Fox, and Jeanine Pirro is acting like the mob boss's lawyer here, saying, I sure will investigate him, sir. Isn't the question, sir, Mr. President, are you threatening him?
And also, she's asking to name this private citizen. She wants a name. Luckily, the president has no idea what the father-in-law's name is. Notes. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, Elijah Cummings, called Cohen's concerns legitimate and quickly denounced what he called the president's and Giuliani's, quote, textbook mob tactics. The chairman added this: our nation's laws prohibit efforts to discourage, intimidate, or otherwise pressure a witness not to provide testimony to Congress. The president should make no statement or take any action to obstruct Congress's independent oversight and investigative efforts, including by seeking to discourage any witness from testifying in response to a duly authorized request from Congress. Here's more from Chairman Cummings and committee member Jackie Speer.
This is something that should upset every single American. This is the United States of America. This is not Russia.
This is called witness tampering. This is a crime, and the Congress of the United States has to exert its authority against a president now who's acting more like Putin every day.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a Godfather movie. If all of this is indeed true, we've got yet another article that could be posed in an impeachment trial.
Congressman Cummings says he's unsure if he will subpoena Cohen to appear before the committee, but guaranteed this, quote, we will hear from Mr. Cohen, period. Joining us now, senior reporter at Vanity Fair and an NBC News and MSNBC contributor, Emily Jane Fox. Emily, good morning. You've got some new reporting on Michael Cohen's decision to postpone this testimony. Is he genuinely scared for the safety of his family? I mean, he hears these tweets from the President of the United States, hears Rudy Giuliani go on Fox News, talk to Jake Tapper, on and on and on, talking about the, quote, father-in-law. Is this actually about, like, physical safety for Michael Cohen?
Here's the reality. You have the most powerful man in the world who has been going after Michael Cohen publicly for 8 months now, now going after private citizens who are his close family members. I don't think that any of us would feel comfortable with the most powerful man in the world going after our family, our spouses, our in-laws, and then saying, you know what, I'm going to voluntarily put myself and my family in the most public setting possible with millions and millions and millions of people watching me across the country, across the world. And I'm not going to do that for my family. I'm not going to put them in further harm if the president is going to continue to publicly threaten me and my family. I know that he has been spending hours and hours and hours preparing for this testimony. This is something that he has been looking forward to doing. He wanted to have this have you no decency moment in front of Congress. He's also been continuing to cooperate with investigators. This is someone who has been spending a lot of his time trying to tell the truth and ready to tell the truth to the American people. But he's not going to do this at the expense of whatever the president is going to threaten to do to him. And I think that this is a test case. So Cohen is one person who has been publicly threatened because of this testimony, because the president has felt cornered and scared about what Michael Cohen may reveal when he goes to Congress. So he's been publicly lashing out at him. Who's to say that he won't do this to another witness who is called to testify in front of Congress? And so Cohen is almost putting them in a situation where Congress has to say, we're either going to do something to make sure that the president doesn't continue to do this to witnesses and doesn't continue to intimidate people who are ready to tell the truth, or they're just not going to show up.
Well, it's not clear what can be done to stop the president. It's not clear what can be done to stop Rudy Giuliani. We have no reason to believe, based on history, that the president will stop doing this. So what if Michael Cohen is, in fact, subpoenaed by Chairman Cummings?
It's my reporting that he will go. He's not going to defy a subpoena, but he's not required to answer questions if he goes. And so it's my understanding that unless there are severe actions taken to try and stop the president beyond a statement, and those statements from lawmakers were fairly strong, but I think in order for him to feel comfortable, they would have to do something more if he's going to go and actually tell the truth the way that he intended to.
Like what?
As we just heard the lawmaker say, this could be a violation of some of the articles. The witness intimidation and witness tampering is a crime.
I was aware, I think most people were aware of the tweet, watch father-in-law, but it's one of a bundle of tweets that you get sick of looking at, that the president issues multiple times a day. I had not seen the Giuliani clip that we just saw. A former United States attorney, a lawyer. That's witness tampering, what we just heard and what we saw from Rudy Giuliani.
In plain sight.
Yes, and the stunning silence of members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat, about someone so associated closely with the President of the United States. Witness tampering like that. They say nothing. I don't blame Michael Cohen for fearing for what might happen to his family.
And Mike Barnicle, I completely agree with you, because there's so much happening in plain sight. And you wonder, and I believe Congresswoman Jackie Spears brought this up. Giuliani goes on the air so much. Trump does it too, muddling the truth, throwing out bombs right and left about people. Check it out. It might be true. This confuses people to the point where you don't see things happening in plain sight, like witness tampering. Susan Page, what are the possibilities here now that we have these questions, now that we see what we see? Can Michael Cohen testify before Congress after he's gone to jail? What are the possibilities here, especially in terms of oversight, and they're now reaching out to the president and demanding some answers?
You know, Michael Cohen will be testifying before Congress. I think we may not know exactly when, we may not know how fully he'll answer questions, but that is going to happen, because one of the things that's important about this exchange is that everything is now setting a precedent for the next 2 years. That's why the State of the Union standoff was important between the president and the speaker, and that's why this is important. This is the first case up of a big witness testifying before a congressional committee now controlled by Democrats, who are going to call witnesses and ask questions that have not been asked for the last 2 years.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.